Well, it's my pleasure to introduce our workshop guest artist, who is my wife, Alicia McQuay, and my daughter, Hazel. And Alicia she holds a doctorate of music from Indiana University in harp performance and literature, and runs the harp program here. And I think you'll be very interested to see a little bit about how harp pedagogy can cross over into all different types. So, okay, I'll turn the time over to her.
Thanks for having me today. I am so honored to be here to speak with you ladies today. All ladies. So, well, I mean, I'm talking to you too. You all today. My name is Alicia McQuay, and I teach here at BYU-Idaho. I also teach privately and out of my home, and I think a lot of us have that in common. And I wanted to ask you all, who gives interviews? I know it's so wonderful that you have on the Google form. What sort of students are you interested in teaching, right? Who is your ideal student? When you think about that, what is your ideal student? Do you interview your students before you agree to teach them? I don't know. I want this to be a discussion. Yeah, what do you think?
Students who practice all the time.
Students who practice all the time. I love that requirement.
Students who do what I say.
Yes, yes. Me too.
Well,
Please.
I've talked to parents, I usually kind of interview the parents.
Excellent.
Because they're the ones that have got to be committed to make sure that they'll practice.
Completely agree.
Right, but then I do talk to the students to make sure I know do they want to compete. I'll do all sorts. I love to just, I had a guy that just wanted to play, and he was so good. I would have loved to put him in the competition. He just didn't want to.
Okay, so
But,
competitions and having that motivation as a factor.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so you've got to have I don't know, I enjoy the ones that are committed, not the ones that are forced.
Awesome.
But
Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you. Other thoughts? Please.
In my experience, it's just been neighbors and friends, and
Mhm.
you feel obligated to say yes, and they're your friends, and then when they're not practicing, it can also cause a hard conversation because they're still your neighbor and they go to church with you, but their kids are just not wanting to play, but they want them to play, and it's a hard balance.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. Anyone else?
I know some teachers who, this is not here in Idaho, but some teachers who won't teach people in their neighborhood or ward. They put a boundary on that and say,
Might not be a bad idea, but some of them are awesome. Some of them are
Yeah.
my favorite.
Right. You live and you learn. Yes, please.
I've got 23 students. I taught for years. I even taught here at Rick's College for a while. But I taught public school, and then I've just retired a year and a half ago, and I've been teaching. So I've got students, but I interview every one of them.
Awesome.
We set goals. We talk about practice times. We report every week. We talk
Excellent.
about what went successful, what was hard.
Mhm.
New students that I have not taken on, I always do a studio invite. I mean, they come, we sit down, I listen to them, we talk about what you can do, what you've done before, where you want to go.
Excellent.
So I feel like I need their buy-in. And so, and moms come, they listen, we have good conversations. So kids know they need to come prepared, and they'll tell me, I'm not going to be prepared today. And I said, that's all right, we'll still get a lot of learning done. And that's how we
Right.
engage that piece.
I love that. Yeah, one of my favorite things to say in a lesson is I meet you right where you are. No matter how you come to your lesson, let's start from there and go on. I love that. Well done. Awesome. So what about age groups? What sort of age groups do you like to teach? And when do you like to start? What's your ideal starting age?
I have a lot of people who ask me, okay, my child is 6, can they start lessons? And I say, sure, are you going to practice with them every single day? And I won't practice with my own kids every single day. And I say, if you are committed to practice with them every single day, then they'll make progress. If not, you need to wait until they're in 5th grade. And instead of paying for all
Ooh,
of those
fifth grade.
lessons for 4 years, in 1 year we'll make all that same progress. So it's up to you. Like,
Yeah, the parental involvement is huge for young students, and we'll actually touch on that quite a bit today. Thank you so much. Yes,
Comment on that?
please.
If we're talking about brain development, if they're waiting until they're in 5th grade to start music, they're missing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I really
I-
like to play music.
Awesome. Yes, yes. And so, in fact, this is a perfect segue. Actually, I'm going to take a little break from this, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the harp and what makes it the same and the different from the piano. Everyone here is pianists, yes? No?
I teach strings.
Strings, excellent. Fantastic. Any other? More? Awesome. Well, fantastic. Awesome. Wait, does somebody play?
My son plays.
That's wonderful. I think I've met you before. Anyway, okay, yeah, we need to talk. Anyway, okay. So yeah, the harp is like a naked piano set up on its side, but the thing about it is the harp only has access to the white keys of the piano. If we need an accidental, on this harp we have to move these levers and it will raise or lower the pitch by 1/2 step. On a big pedal harp, which I don't have here, each note name, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, each have its own separate pedal that can change it from natural to flat or from natural to sharp. And it's wild. So harp is limited in a lot of ways that piano is not, but we also have our perks. I usually play a glissando at this point so that you can hear how unique the sound can be. And we can just basically play chords just by setting our pedals and playing all the strings at once. It's really fascinating. So what goes into playing the harp? There are a series of steps that need to happen before any sound is even made. The first thing is that a harpist must visually locate the string that she wants, and get her hand into the correct playing position. We have to set our finger on the string, and then we have to bend the string by putting pressure on it. All of those things have to happen before you can even make a sound. And then after you put that pressure on, you follow through into your palm and relax, hopefully. And that lets the string ring. So the harp is what is the word I'm looking for? It's very exposed, because if there's a string ringing and your finger touches it makes a sound like that. And so from the very beginning, harp technique is very important. So I'm going to be talking a lot about my experience as a harpist, and hopefully a lot of these things will translate to piano just by virtue of music teaching and music philosophy and methods. So I wanted to introduce you to that, because I want to spend most of our time today talking about how to gauge if a child is ready to play an instrument. And as it was so beautifully expressed already, for young students, the parental involvement is humongous. You can't expect a 6-year-old to go home and practice everything correctly by themselves and have that sort of discipline and motivation and just attention to detail. So that's one of the first things that when I give my interviews, I ask the parent, are you in this for the long haul? I need you to be here at every single lesson, and you are going to be working with this child at home 14 more times than, like, let's say if we have like a 20-minute or 30-minute lesson, they might spend a half an hour to an hour at home throughout the week before I see them again. So they're going to spend so much more time with the child at home than they are with me. So I need that parent to be an expert on what we're doing. So I always have my parents take notes, and sometimes I'll even have the mom sit at the harp and give it a try. So, yeah. So Hazel, my lovely assistant, will you come up here, please? I'm going to show you guys a little bit about what I do when I am interviewing a student. Now, I have no qualms about interviewing 4-year-olds. 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. I've started many 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and 6-year-olds, and it can be the most rewarding experience. First of all, because it's when our motor skills are really being developed. Even though there's still a lot of development going on in their minds and logical thinking, that motor skill is so important right off the bat. So the first thing we do, now Hazel already knows the position, and she is my harpist, and she knows what she's doing. So I would first show the student this posture. That is what everything we do in harp is based off of, this posture. So Hazel, let's just pretend I've showed you tucka posture is what I call it. That looks beautiful. Now, regardless of the age of the student, I will always say, okay, look right here at your finger while I count to 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job, Hazel. You passed the test. Excellent. Now, sometimes it is really difficult for a child to watch their finger for that long. Now, other variations that you could do of that attention span test is you don't have to speak out loud. You can just have them, you can draw a dot on their finger, you can tap their finger to keep their attention, but if they're really good, trying to distract them while they're watching their hand is one of the most useful ways to tell how concentrated they really can be. Now, I've had students who really have a hard time, and I just have to be silent and give her a second. Those students, we take much slower and a much more general music approach right from the beginning. But I don't think it is, for me personally, I would not say, no, you can't start lessons yet. We'll start the little things, some boring things, right? For instance, Hazel, will you take a seat on this chair, or just, actually, no. You can stay in there. But look at the audience. But I want you to use your ears. Are you ready? Now, I'm going to play a few notes, and I want you to tell me if the notes are going up or if the notes are going down. All right? Are you ready? How about this? The notes are going up. You're right. Sorry, I thought the harp was plenty in tune for me today, so I didn't bother tuning it. Here you go. And how about this? How did you know?
Because I could hear the sound is getting lower.
It's getting lower. That's right. And when we talk about lower on the harp, we could talk about this way. When we're going lower on the harp, it's down this way. And when we talk about higher on the harp, up higher on the tiny strings, we go this way. So this is higher and this is lower. This is up and this is down. Now what about this? You can turn to the audience again. I'm going to play a note for you, and I want you to tell me if the note, or I'm going to play two notes. I want you to tell me if the second note is up or down from the first note, if it's higher or lower. So here's our first note, and here's our second note.
Higher.
Higher, very good listening. How about this one?
Lower.
Lower. How about this one? I'm going to try to trick you.
Higher.
It is higher. Well done. How about this one?
Lower.
Fantastic. Hazel's the perfect example. You know all this already. Well done, Hazel. That was wonderful. Okay, now we're going to spend some time figuring out your finger numbers. Did you know that all of these strings have names?
Yes.
Yes.
I can tell you all the names to them.
Will you tell me the names of the strings?
Okay. This one is A, this one is B, this one is C.
Wait, how did you know that one was C?
It's because it was the third string in in the alphabet. C is the third letter.
Oh, it goes. That's awesome. Okay. Well, how did you know where A was then?
Because I know that F is black,
Ooh.
so G is right here, and I know
Awesome.
that G is the last note, so I started back at A.
Awesome. Well done. Okay, so we'll keep going. Keep showing us.
Oh, okay.
So
This is D.
D.
This is E. This is F, and this is G.
So you knew that the black one was F, and so you know that the red one is
C.
C. Awesome. Fantastic. Well, did you know that your fingers have names too?
Yeah.
These are letters, and these are numbers.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yes.
There's
Well,
no
and on
5.
harp, we don't ever use 5.
Because
So-
5 is stupid.
No, it's 5 is the best. 5 just isn't very long for our techniques. Okay, so this is 1, and this is 2, and 3, 4, and 5. This is still 5. So I'm going to ask you, what? Okay, who's this?
5,
Keep your hand up. Who's this?
4,
Nice and loud so everybody can hear you.
3, 2, and 1.
Now what about this?
3, 5, 1, 4, 2.
What about now? Who's this?
5.
Are you sure this is 5?
No.
Who is this?
1.
Who's this?
5.
Awesome.
1, 2, 4.
Good job.
3, 1.
Fantastic. Now who's this?
5,
Awesome. Who's this?
1,
Very good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Fantastic. Now that can be very telling as a teacher to see, can they distinguish, or how long does it take them, especially switching the hand. Even for my 6-year-old here, that tripped her up for just a second because 5 was on this side, right? And so that can be very telling. But that is a really fun game to help learn finger numbers, and since they're the same, for the pianists, for the string players, it's a little different, but you could also play that game to gauge, to gauge where they are. Thank you, Hazel. I'm going to have you take a little break, and we, ladies, are, yes, please.
I just have a comment about, I have several piano students who are also string students, and I think it's helpful to just point out to them why they sometimes are getting confused because they're so used to playing the 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And so
Yep.
it's very helpful because sometimes they don't understand. I'll say, you need to play finger 3, and they just keep on hitting finger, and I'm like, no, that's your
That's 4.
that's your violin finger 30.
Well done, absolutely.
Point it out so it's on their radar.
Fantastic. Oh, I forgot one aspect. Hazel, come here. I'm going to clap a rhythm for you, and I want you to do it with me. Should we have our friends do it with us too?
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to have, well, just listen and do what I say, or do what I do. Ready? Ready? My turn, go. 1, and your turn, go. Awesome. Well done, Hazel! Should we do some with our friends? Do you want to lead us for a second? Okay, it's your turn. You do some rhythms. And so I'll give you the beat. It's your turn. Ready? Your turn. excellent job coming up with those different rhythms. That was so fun. Thank you all for your participation. Now, we are going to have a wild participation activity for me to illustrate a very important point in pedagogy, in my opinion. Let's see, we have, I'd like 8 of you to volunteer. We're going to split into 2 groups. I'm going to teach you both something, and then we're going to show, each group is going to show the other group what they have been taught. So can I get 8 volunteers? 8 volunteers. 1, 2, thank you, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's okay. We can stay here too. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys out into the hallway, and I'm going to teach you this thing, and then I'm going to come back in here and teach them this thing, and then we're going to come back together, and we're going to show each other the thing. Is that okay? All right, so follow me, ladies. Here we go. Okay, I'll be right back. Oh, I hope I brought enough papers.
Well, I'm just helping Vanessa for this festival. She'll all be gone. Oh, okay. So,
thank you, ladies, very much for your volunteer to be in Group A. You guys are Group A. So here is what I want you to do. Read the instructions. So here, this is the thing I'm teaching you, and here are the instructions. So you can see each of the little letters, or each of the little numbers correspond with one of these instructions here at the bottom. Work together, figure it out. I'll be right back. I'll come back in just a second to see how you guys are doing. All right, everybody. Okay, so, Group A is out there learning their thing, and we are Group B. And here we go. I'm going to teach you this little dilly. Are you ready? Is everybody ready? Okay. It's called Foozy Diddle, and this is how it goes. Foozy Diddle. Bzzz. That's all it is. So let's break it up. Foozy diddle is the first part, right? And then we go, shp. Everybody do that for me. Shp. Awesome. So we have foozy diddle, shp. Let's try that together. Ready, go. Foozy diddle, shp. Awesome. And then we just have 3 short F sounds. So it goes, foozy diddle, shp. Try that with me. Ready, go. Foozy diddle, shp. The next part, we are going to make a buzzing sound and let it ring for the whole 2 beats. Bzzz. So if this is our beat, right? So, foozy diddle, bzzz. And then we're going to click our tongue like that. There you go. That was awesome. Let's try it a couple times together. Ready? Go. Foozy diddle, bzzz. Awesome. Let's do it 3 more times, please. Ready? Go. Foozy diddle. Bzzz. Awesome. 2 more times. Ready? Go. Foozy diddle. Bzzz. Awesome. I bet you guys can do it without me. Let's try it. Ready? Go.
Foozy diddle.
Awesome. Is there anything about that is confusing that we can go over again? Maybe the order. Foozy diddle. Yeah, that's good. Let's try it one more time, and then I'll go check on Group A. Ready? Go. Foozy diddle. Bzzz. You guys are naturals. Okay, I'll be right back. how are you guys doing?
I need a little more guidance.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe 2 more minutes? Figure it out.
Yeah, but it says here that we've got the rhythmic pulse going on.
Okay.
We have on number 10 is the primary accent.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not gonna start with F like this, it would be an upbeat, right?
Oh, wait a minute.
So we're establishing an upbeat? No.
So maybe 10, these are all going to be, oh wait, these are gonna be like the melody.
Are you going to be
and then
putting up a
like-
pattern with these things?
Or is it just an,
Everything? Or, because this isn't making any sense to
I
me.
think 10 is the primary accent.
Because you've got arrows
So
down,
maybe
Mm-hmm.
but this number 1, are we supposed to go find a 1?
The one's right there.
This is your upbeat, and from there we have a steady beat.
So that
Okay,
U
so
is
that U
pronounced
is in blue.
U is in blue.
Okay.
Establishes your pulse.
Then this 2 is on the A, pronounced like Eve,
that's gonna be your 12.
but that would be a
Oh,
silent A,
is it all
No,
vocalized?
9 is it, 9 is.
if that's the 2.
So do we not stomp anything? Is it all coming through our?
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, this A, pronounced like A,
Awesome.
eh.
Okay.
So this is E, this is silent, that A.
So
Gotta be.
this E and this
Okay,
Okay.
and then 4, pronounced like okay, short with a 5. See, I don't have my, I need to go get my glass.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm having a hard time. T, okay, so 5, short with a rising inflection. T,
if there, if
Okay.
it's E, so this
T.
A is pronounced E.
6.
Like we got
Now these little O guys, are they diminished?
No, it's the 12.
E, D,
But they're 3
So-
separate short sounds, but the
Okay.
F, but the 6, the F sound with no vowel following.
and this
Okay.
should be halfway through.
So I think you should share your information with the group.
Well, I think they're doing it, but I just wasn't, okay, so, but that's all 6, so they're all, but this B is still, doesn't have a number.
Right.
So this is
But
a part of
the
6?
7, there's a 7 right there.
Just the, B, oh, so these 2 together?
Okay.
Oh, so this is your first,
Oh,
you guys.
she's
we
on the right
figured it
track.
out. Okay.
Okay, 2 more minutes and I'll come. So have something ready to perform for us. Be ready to perform for us. Okay, Group A needs a couple more minutes, so I let them have a couple more minutes. But let's try our thing again. Absolutely. Right? That's why I've come back. Absolutely. Okay, my turn. Foozy diddle. Bzzz. Let's do it together. Ready? Foozy diddle. Bzzz. Awesome. One more time, all of you guys together. Ready? Awesome. Well done. Yeah. Do it. Remember it. I'll be right back. They still have 1 minute, but I'll be back. Okay, we are just about out of time. Okay,
But you have
what?
the
Show.
numbers above numbers,
Show.
and this one down right before, because when you were saying the 1 is your first beat,
Okay.
then 2, then 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then 10 again, so F and U combined
So-
again? Are we wrapping
No,
around
this is
primary
the
accent? So
all
one
of the numbers
above-
correspond to the instructions.
So we're supposed to figure, just perform something. Just
Yeah. So what does it say?
Poor children, if that's how they see the music when they first start, you know.
Oh, well, the parents.
Okay. Okay.
I think they're gonna have to go slower, 'cause look how far apart our.
Do you want to try?
Yeah.
So you're ooh,
Okay.
but F,
E, D, E, D, E, L, S.
because isn't this A,
That's
oh wait,
number
no,
4.
the 2, but isn't that a silent A?
Well, it's the
No,
E
'cause
and
that-
the E and
now
A
it's
is
like
in
this.
leave.
Okay, all right,
So
okay.
then the other A with the
Is the
4 is
E,
L, S,
D.
O.
just say the letter.
I don't know.
Okay, here's,
Okay.
here, yep, here's the dress rehearsal. Okay, ready? Go.
Okay.
You gotta go up, remember? Yeah. So what's with the down?
Yeah, don't go on that one. There's no sound. It's no sound, okay, is that a rest?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
eight,
sound on
eight's
H.
a rest.
Yeah.
Okay, a plucking sound,
Yeah.
and then your
Maybe
rest.
rest for
B.
4.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. Group A, come on in.
Sorry. I don't know what to do. Just go around later.
Thank you, Group A.
We're meant to look stupid is what I'm getting at.
No, absolutely. That is not the point. Okay, Group A is ready. All right, Group A, show us what you got. Well done, Group A. Oh, wait, stay right there for just 1 second. Oh, no, I guess you can go sit down. Sure, that's fine. Okay, Group B. It's time to show Group A what you guys learned. Okay, are you ready? Okay, ready? Set, go. Hey, so did you guys learn the same thing? Let's pass a couple of these down. I hope I got enough. Can you pass a couple of these down? Okay. Here, do you want one? Can you pass these back, please? Awesome. Okay. Yes, Group B, let's do it again. Here's Group B. Ready? Go. Foozy diddle. Bzzz. Okay, you both learned the same thing. Okay, so how did Group A learn? Like, what method did Group A use?
Mathematical. It's very literal.
It was literal. Okay,
You had to figure out the code first.
you had to figure it out.
Put your student in front of the music.
That's why you needed extra.
This is exactly why we're doing this. Thank you for saying that out loud. Okay, so Group A got this list of instructions that they had to figure out. Group B, I just said it a couple times, and they did it with me. Easy, right? Which one was faster to learn? Group B, for sure. What was more rhythmic? B, right? What was more musical? Yes, okay, B for sure. And why? So the different types of learning, right? We see it on the page and we produce it. Or you hear it and you produce it. Which was more, which was faster?
Well, I have a question. If Group B, reading this, if they could understand and make sense to what they did. So if they can do it backwards,
reverse.
then the reverse. Like, how does this make sense to Group B?
Exactly. So how does that apply to teaching young students?
You want Group B to do it again?
Group B, let's do it one more time. Okay, so remember, the arrows are the beats. Here's our beat. Ready? Go. Foozy little. Bzzz. I kind of forgot the rest. Sorry. There is a rest there. After the buzz. Bzzz. Yeah, let's do it one more time. Ready? Oh, let's do it all
But
together.
I think that's the point.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right?
The point is that,
How can we expect little littles to translate Greek into sounds unless we show them how we want it to sound? Right? Yes.
There's that trick of teaching how to read, though, and not letting them rely on their only.
That's so true.
So
So it's a balance, right? I strongly believe in the power of having students listen to the repertoire that they're learning. I play in the lessons all the time. I play with Hazel. She'll learn the right hand, I'll play both hands together for her. She'll play the left hand, I'll play both hands together. She's always listening to the pieces that she's learning. She's also listening to the pieces that she will learn in time. Yes?
But is it okay to have them just sight read though? I mean, you've got to have them sight read before they hear anything just to see if they're making sense of that.
Okay, so that's where our job as the translators happen. Absolutely, starting small. This was tidal wave of information, right? So if, like, you were trying to figure out where the instructional one was and didn't realize until later that it applied to the F and the U, right? So it's little things like that that we explain to our students line upon line. It's very small, steady segments, right? So that it's not this tidal wave of information. And maybe we go back to a review piece and put the music up and play it for them while they watch along. Oh, ding, light bulb. That's how it looks. It's like teaching a child how to read. Do children learn how to speak or read first? They speak. They learn all the vocabulary. They hear their mothers and their families and their school teachers talking to them. They learn the inflections. They learn meaning, right? And then we teach them the letters. And when you combine the letters, they make these sounds. And then all of a sudden they can read, right? And so my philosophy is, and especially because harp is so, like I said, it's so technically precise. It must be for so many reasons, because the harp is so bare and it's really the finger that controls the sound. If there's any difference in where the finger plays or what angle the finger is at when the sound is made, it totally changes the sound. It might not change the pitch, but it will change the timbre for sure. And you guys can absolutely relate to that. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, it's interesting because the piano lends itself to pedagogically prioritizing sometimes reading and the nomenclature, because for the most part a student can make a sound, right? Whereas if you teach strings or something complex like the harp, it's almost impossible to do. And I think that that's to the detriment of the piano, because if they start prioritizing things like reading and visually trying to figure out the nomenclature, and then the hand never really develops and has a sophisticated technique, it can be extremely problematic.
Yes. So on the harp, I, especially with very young students, 4, 5, 6, at 6 years old, she's in kindergarten, she's learning how to read, right? That's when that translation starts to happen in the brain. And like I said, I've started 4-year-olds, no problem. And with the harp, it is so visual that I like to have my students concentrate on making sure that their posture and technique is correct before I add the Greek. Does that make sense? And so, and as I mentioned, knowing how you want it to sound is half the battle right there. So Hazel, well, any questions or any more comments about that, please?
I think it's all about vision, you know, and I think I kind of do a variety if I have a lesson where I will sometimes on a piece give the vision up front and say, this is how it sounds.
Yes.
And isn't this beautiful and stuff, and this is how it, so they already have a vision of where it's going to go. And sometimes I will do, we are just going to sight read this. You are going cold turkey on your own. What can you figure out?
Turn on the metronome, you have to stay it to it. I love it,
And so
absolutely.
I think just a balance is very important. I don't think you can just do all one or another. And a lot of times I get students that come that have been just very strongly ear trained, and they're so frustrated going back trying to read they're just like, well, what am I supposed to do here? What do I put here? And so trying to wean them off of that and get a balance, but someone who doesn't have a good ear train, they sometimes don't make really pretty music, even if they're reading all the notes.
Absolutely. And that's where our job comes in. I always say I love my job because every single student is so different and I get to figure them out.
Yeah.
Everyone's fingers and hands are shaped different. Everyone comes with different nature versus nurture strengths, right? And it's our job as pedagogues to fill those gaps and make that balance. Did you want to add to that?
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, the students that I didn't stick with their flashcards, you know, I didn't make them finish their flashcards, because they just wouldn't practice them, and then I gave up. Then they quit later on when their songs get too hard to hear by ear.
There you go.
Play by ear. Because they worked that ear so much, they had an incredible ear, but they didn't work the flashcards.
Well,
So,
I also don't think there's any harm in having them also hear it, because you learn so much more from, right?
But once their pieces get to a certain level that they're playing so well, but they're not reading,
Mm-hmm.
then they're not going to get in and tackle that piece because
They
it's
can't
too
figure it out
hard.
on their own.
They can't figure it out on their own.
Right.
And you're not
So-
teaching them by
Right.
rote,
So
note by
I
note anymore.
start
Yeah.
my young students right with the flashcards. I mean, I have a system where they do the flashcard with rhythm.
But
They have
it's-
to play on a rhythm, finding that note. Plus,
Right.
then they also have their little pieces.
Right.
I will play by ear, but
Yeah.
they're learning those notes. I mean, they've got to get them. My daughter was all about her ear,
Right.
and I had to make sure she learned how to read.
But you don't just sit them down at the piano, give them a piece and say, "Okay, play for me." You show them line upon line how to do it, right? Exactly. Please. Yeah.
Well, and I think too, just to add some thoughts, for me, a lot of it has to do with timing, right? When. to
Right,
do
for a
it.
4-year-old, everything is by rote at first. I'm not asking them to look at anything except for their fingers.
And even being able
I mean,
to
that's
move,
on the harp, but
even being able to move correctly at that age is complicated. But
Mm-hmm.
sight reading is so incredibly important, especially I think for all instruments, especially as a pianist, to develop that skill. And it becomes an explicit component of how I teach. We have technique, and then we actually have sight reading assignments. And I have this mom. She has 11 kids. They're all very musical. I teach piano to 2 of them. And our lessons are a certain length. And she's a very musical mom and opinionated in a lot of ways. And we're having our lessons, and I have to divide the lesson into 3 sections. We do technique, we do sight reading, then we work on their repertoire. And at some point in time, we're running out of time in the lessons, and she floated the idea of, well, we can just do sight reading on our own, and no, you can't. You are supposed to
in
do
addition.
these things, and I need to observe how you sight read, and every few weeks I need to actually give you a sight reading exam to see if you're making progress. I mean, it's absolutely essential that you do that. I think it has to do with timing, right?
yes.
Who remembers the old school Thompson piano method? The red book. That's the most discouraging method I've ever seen. And it's but you have to understand that you're exactly right, because what is page 1? I use it in my pedagogy class here on campus all the time. What's page 1? It's like a grand staff. It's like, good luck. Good luck,
Right?
4-year-old.
Foodsie diddle. Here are your instructions. Do it.
Reading right off the bat, but I tried to put it in that and I lost it.
So, sight reading is absolutely essential, and I think that it's also important that skill be developed very early on. But it's an issue of timing, milk before meat sort of thing, so that they get exposed to that. Anyways, so
Right.
I told Mom no. I mean,
Good.
I have to make sure that's happening. My teacher growing up, Irene Curie, had this wonderful student who won everything. And she was giving him these assignments: technique, sight reading, repertoire. And he'd come back and play his sight reading pieces. Perfect. It's like, oh, good. This week, here, I want you to do these 10 pages. And then he'd come back and sight read it. Perfect. You know, it took several years for her to discover what was going on. He was learning the pieces.
He was memorizing
very
them.
quickly. And he was a very improficient sight reader. He couldn't do it. And it was a problem. So, you know, pedagogically, it has to be addressed, but I still think it has to do with time.
Thank you for the thoughts. What did you want?
I was just going to say pretty much the same thing, that we have to realize, I don't think we teach kids how to play by ear. That's not the point. The point is for them to develop their tone, to have a specific focus on their tone and their technique, and then have a specific focus on their sight reading ability.
Right. Just like we learn to speak before we learn to read, how can we expect them to play with perfect technique while they have so much to think about all the time? So as this is titled, A Different Perspective for Piano Teachers, Philosophy and Methods for Starting Young Beginners, I hope you ladies got some inspiration today and got some things to think about for your own studios. Are there, I still have lots more to say, but we're out of town. But are there any other questions or things that you'd like to talk about?
I'm going to approach another student in a different way, a little young guy that his brother came off of the Let's Play Music. And then I had an opening. I said, well, you want to start your younger one? And he was 2 years, he was 6, but didn't do Let's Play Music, I don't think. And so I'm doing my normal stuff I do with an 8-year-old, and now I'm going to go back and say, okay, let's just work on this rote stuff now, since he's still so young, because he's not getting into practicing. I don't think his mom's sitting with him. But the other kid was just taking off like crazy. I thought the next one would, you know.
Oh, siblings are so different,
But,
aren't they?
Joanna, I'm okay too telling a parent, I do not teach young beginners.
Absolutely.
And say, I recommend you go to this teacher or that teacher who are more specialized and are equipped to handle a very young beginner. And so if it's not your style, if that's not your teaching style, then just bring in an older student or whatever. I think it's okay for you.
Absolutely. I do have a 4-year-old in my studio. In my studio, I think she turned 5 just a week or 2 ago, but she started almost a year ago. And she, at first, you know, we just played the ear games. I had her do it for me. We played the rhythm games for several weeks. We practiced the posture and we practiced the movement, and that's all we did for about 2 months. I had her at home listening to those pieces that we were going to learn first. You know, all of that good stuff. And then soon we took this to the harp, 1 note at a time. And then I would play for her. Did you recognize that? Yeah, I've been listening to that at home. You know, all of those good things. And so it doesn't have to be just like dive into playing the piano right now. There are also other ways, like Let's Play Music, and you could do that yourself in your own studios to kind of take that approach.
Your parent has to just be ready for that, because parents want results. They're paying for it. So they want results. So you feel kind of the pressure to, I've got to get this kid producing.
Absolutely. And that might not be a good fit. I always tell my parents of the young students, you know, things are going to be boring at first, but trust me, because once we get this down, then they're going to fly. Let's get this down first. So, yes, thank you very much.
I think choosing good repertoire as a teacher for those young students, because I remember Irene Peary in her pedagogy class taught us, she said, at the end of your first lesson with a new student, you'd better send them home playing something, right? You can't send them home, with this, you know? It's like, they want to go home and play, oh look, I'm playing hot cross buns, I'm playing the piano. And of course you're trying to fix their movement and posture and everything else, and that's a whole nother journey. But I also think it's interesting you say parents want results, and I think there can be a way to have them excited about it. Because if they don't have any results for too long, then there's discouragement and then they stop.
I agree.
But if you keep making it fun, there's something new about each lesson, maybe even like rewards like stickers or do you know what I mean? For little kids, they really respond to that. Hazel, do you have something to say?
I really want to play Moonlight Forever.
Okay, maybe when we dismiss everyone, you can play for us.
Go up there and play it for us.
Actually, do you know what? This harp is not tuned for Moonlight. Can you play London Bridge instead?
What if I mess up?
Well, it's okay. This is her piece that we just put hands together a couple days ago. Do you want to try it?
You wanna try?
Is it too awful for Moonlight?
Well, just because we need B sharps, and these are tuned to B flats. So we only have the flat and the natural. That is the plague of the lever harp. If we had a pedal harp here, oh sure, no problem. Yeah. Do you want to play London Bridge for us? Well, I suppose we can call this good on our workshop today. Thank you everyone so much for coming, and let's turn the time over to Hazel.
Let's hear it.
Can I only play right hand?
No, wait. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I think you should play hands together. Go, Hazel, go, Hazel, go, Hazel. I'm so sorry I can't let you play Moonlight. Unless you want to wait for me to tune the harp. I can do it fast.
Play for us, son. Play.
Moonlight is so pretty. Do it.
I always forget how it starts.
Okay, think about it. London Bridge is falling down.
I might need a little bit of help.
Do you know, I have an idea. I'm going to tune the harp so you can play Moonlight, because I think you'll have more fun doing that. Right now. Just give me a sec. Hot sec. Yes. Harps are
Do you know, there's this
unique
video on
instruments.
YouTube. Has anyone seen it? There's a manufacturer, I think in China, that makes a piano that's all white. It's stressed. If you watch it, look, there's no good reason. It's a very stressful experience. But when I saw that, I said, you know what? That is very much an analogy of what it's like playing harp.
Are there pedals or something? How do you get the accidentals? Or you just don't?
It's just in one.
You just don't.
But a harpist looks down at the strings and sees really the white keys. And in order to create a black key, you have to do something with your foot.
Or move one of these levers.
Or in this case, it's a lever. But with the pedal harp, so I mean that's just mind-boggling. That if you need an F sharp, it's like I've got to go up and change my foot. And then
You're teaching the black keys is white. There are no raised.
there are no raised keys. The only exception for the harp would be, of course, that they have this color pattern where at least you can see where the red and the black.
One of my students once asked me, when am I going to take my training strings off? I was like, what do you mean, your training strings? Like the black ones and the red ones. And I said, if they were gone, how would you know which was which?
So are these Chinese? Yeah, I sat down at a
Okay.
Oh, I'm sure it's experimental.
All right. Hazel will now perform Moonlight for us. Go for it. Yep, right there. Yes. Take it out, take it out. Good job, Hazel. Awesome. Thanks for listening, ladies. Appreciate you.
Here.
Good job, sweetie.